I, Your Highness, am Madame Li, the wife of Chief. I pay my respects to you, Consort Jing. Please rise. This is my granddaughter, Your Highness.
She is Minister Liu Cheng's granddaughter.
I see. This is the Chief Secretariat,
Minister Liu Cheng's granddaughter.
How gentle and refined you are, coming from such a noble family.
Thank you for your kind words.
Don't worry, young Marshal. Shajang is like a cornered beast. He won't be trouble. He will be caught.
Shajang does not worry me. He'll be caught sooner or later. I'm worried about Sister Dong now. His Majesty may have pardoned her, but I still have no idea when any of us can get her out of prison.
The amnesty granted to her was only for the death sentence. Shajang's revolt and escape made His Majesty deeply furious at the Xuanjing Bureau. Taking her out of prison would take some time.
Brother Nie's much calmer, knowing she's fine. Let's wait 2 more months. Perhaps things will be better.
I already told you. You're here to recuperate. There's no need for you to do these things.
I'm already feeling a lot better, Sir Su. If I'm not mistaken, something is troubling you. That is why I thought of an idea. Perhaps it could help you with your problem.
You mean Shadong's situation?
Yes.
Go ahead then. What is it?
I know a little about disguise. Although long-term disguises or replacing someone completely is very unlikely, with the prison's dim lighting and the guards are the only ones there every day, I may successfully disguise myself without them knowing.
Gongyu, are you suggesting that we take you to the prison to switch you in Shadong's place?
Yes. General and Madame Nie love each other very much. I think it's best for them to see each other again. That's why I think it's a good idea, even if it's only for a few days, just so they can see each other.
Do you think this will work?
I will not allow them to discover me.
But you're not fully recovered.
Dr. Yan said I only need to rest a few more days, then I'll be all right.
Gongyu's idea might just work, just as long as we are careful about the switch and avoid her going into trial. We might just be able to deceive them.
But Gongyu, won't you suffer in the Imperial prison?
As long as it helps the chief, it won't be too hard.
Once Shadong and Nifeng do meet each other soon, they will thank you for what you've done. You may go now. When the time comes, I'll let you know.
All right.
My gift!
What do you mean, gift?
My gift!
There. She's your gift.
Huh?
Her beauty is the gift.
Huh? You liar!
The ministers have decided that on the 16th of June, Prince Jing becomes the crown prince.
To me, this is no surprise at all.
It may not be a surprise but it's still good news nonetheless. Prince Jing becoming the crown prince means he can rightfully rule the country. Your longtime wish is about to happen. Aren't you happy?
Sure I am. But once you've done the task for Shandong, I'd be much happier.
Oh, forget about that. Ever since your favorite Chai Chuan took over the Ministry of Justice, the prison security became tighter. Because of that, I'm gonna need more time.
Chief, I've just received a message from Qinzhou. Shiyu is dead.
He's dead? How did he die?
The official statement says it was an accident. He was doing hard labor at the quarry. Rocks slipped from a slope and killed him.
That's how he died? What a coincidence. But when you think of all the terrible things that he's done, he should actually consider himself lucky.
He's too lucky. But he's more useful dead than alive. Since Shazhang's rebellion, the Emperor has aged. The Crown Prince's influence is high. It may just be the right time to reopen the Qian case. What I lack is a catalyst to trigger the process.
What catalyst?
Shiyu's confession is in Royal Princess Liang's hands. She can reveal it only after he dies.
But won't it be a little too soon? Prince Jing has yet to become the crown prince. Shouldn't he wait a bit?
Of course we should wait a bit. Brother Meng, we received this news from a homing pigeon. Shiyu is an exiled criminal. The news of his death will circulate slowly. It is not an urgent matter. It would at least take a month for the message to arrive in Sanshua.
What's wrong with Feliu?
Huh?
He's been upset all day. I think Lin Chen has arrived.
Master Lin knows you're waiting for him, but he's still taking his time to show up. Even after arriving at the capital.
Hold on. Who are you talking about?
A doctor not from here. I invited him to treat Niefeng.
That's great news then. Someone's finally going to treat Niefeng. You know, ever since you came back from the hunting palace, you've been unhappy. I think you're unhappy because of the poison Niefeng has in him. Prince Jing has been unhappy as well. But what is he so upset about anyway?
You have to put yourself in his shoes. The burden he carries is getting heavier. He's getting tired. I have you guys when I needed someone to talk to, but who does he have? Even if Consort Jing can comfort him, the palace rules separate them.
You're right. The higher a person is, the fewer friends he has. This means once he becomes emperor, it'll get worse for him, am I right? If you would only tell him your real identity, then perhaps he won't... Did I say something wrong? Greetings, Your Highness.
Greetings, Your Highness.
At ease.
Your Highness, it's almost time for the Eastern Palace to be bestowed onto you. Yet why do you seem unhappy?
Not at all. Xuanjing Bureau has been dissolved, and today, news of a prosperous harvest has become known. There were no problems in the court. Why would I be unhappy?
Your coronation is all set, and Prince Yu's conviction will be issued in a few days. I heard many were involved. Your Highness, there is nothing to worry about.
One man formed a rebellion, which lost many innocent lives. If only Prince Yu lived dutifully as a noble prince, this wouldn't have happened. Another crime in the palace means more executions. It's been over a decade, but killing your own family still hasn't stopped.
That's right. Thinking about it now, while the former crown prince was exiled and left the capital, somehow he was still able to protect his family. It truly is hard to figure out who was fortunate in this situation. Since your return from the hunting palace, your highness has looked troubled. May I be so bold to ask you if your highness has been thinking of what happened to Prince Chi many years ago? 13 years ago, I just joined the civil service, but I can still clearly remember what happened in Prince Chi's case.
I wasn't there. Tell me what happened.
It was also a case of treason, but still different from what happened with Prince Yu. At the time it happened, blood flowed like a river in the entire capital. Prince Chi was well known. When the case occurred, almost half of the civil and military officials pleaded for his innocence. But because of this, the situation only became worse. People died one after another. Many people were killed. Families were executed. Marshal Lin She's wife, Royal Princess Jin Yan, took her own life in the Zhaoyang Hall. Then Prince Chi's mother, Consort Chen Lin Yu Yao, who was admired by all, was carried out wrapped in a white silk cloth when she also chose to take her own life. Many years after these people's deaths, people grew frightened to even dare speak of Prince Chi.
Why are you talking about this?
Your Highness, the person who was in charge of the Qian case was Sha Jiang. And now Sha Jiang himself has become a criminal charged with treason. Perhaps Your Highness has been having some thoughts regarding the situation.
That's right. Recently, this is all I've been thinking of.
Your Highness, before your coronation, I advise you please not to bring up your thoughts about this case before the Emperor.
And why can't I?
Sha Jiang may have been in charge, but it was still His Majesty who made the final decision, and knowing his temper... His Majesty values his reputation above everything else, Your Highness. If you decide to bring up the case without careful consideration, the Emperor will think that you are deliberately bringing it up to force him to admit his grave error in judgment all those years ago, and I'm afraid he won't forgive you for that.
But then, from Sha Jiang's rebellion, you can tell that the truth back then was...
What do you mean, the truth? Did you really think nobody dared to tell the truth 13 years ago? But in the end, the ones who did were either banished from court or executed or... No one would dare speak of it. In His Majesty's eyes, whether Prince Chi really rebelled or not didn't matter. But what did matter to him was that if Prince Chi wanted to rebel, he can easily do so anytime. Your Highness, you must not allow His Majesty to think of you in the same way.
Brother Nie, Commander Meng is setting up your meeting with Sister Dong. Once the Crown Prince is appointed, we should be able to bring her out, so don't worry. The doctor I mentioned to you before has arrived at the capital. He's highly skilled. Once he takes a look at your pulse, perhaps by then we'll know what to do next.
That Master Lin sure has some nerve. Instead of getting down to business, he goes chasing women.
It's a waste not to chase women. Patients don't run away.
Master Lin.
Of course I have to run after women. Isn't that right? Whoa! Well, well, well! What do we have here? Oh, would you take a look at this? What are you standing there for?
Huh?
Go get on G to prepare me something to eat. I haven't eaten all day and I'm starving already.
Yes, sir.
It's just as well. Now check his pulse. If you don't do a good job, you don't eat.
That's a bit harsh of you. You invited me over and I came all this way from Southern Chu and this is the thanks I get? Then no food? No treatment.
Are you sure you want to starve yourself?
Fine then. All right, you win.
Wait,
on.
it's not me. That's your patient, can't you see?
I think you should be diagnosed too. Dr. Yan didn't have it easy, did he?
Quit fooling around. Get on with it.
All right. I'll check both of you at once.
You must be tired, Master. I'll help you soak your feet.
Don't worry about it. I must go to the secret chamber to meet our guest. We have something to discuss.
Why are you the one who visits him every day? Why can't he come here himself to meet with you instead? He doesn't seem like he's the one in need of your help. In fact, he acts more like a master.
Yao Chu, don't say such things. Hey. I told no one else but you about him in the secret chamber. Not even my wife knows. Be careful with the things that you say.
You didn't tell me, Master. You were inside of my room when all of a sudden, he jumped in from outside a window. So of course, Master, I would know about it.
What's the diagnosis? What is it? Why are you staring?
He's much uglier than you. Yet you're much worse than him.
Thank you, but I know my own condition. You don't need to tell me.
Then what do you want me to say?
Tell me how badly poisoned is he?
His toxicity is only 1/3 of yours. Nothing alarming.
You've never cured this poison. Can you really do it?
If you don't believe me, why don't you send me over? I'm leaving.
Come back.
What?
If I could find your father, why would I ask you to come? Failure, would you be willing?
Not willing!
Fine then. I admit. If he was poisoned as badly as you were before, there is no way I can cure him. But that man is not in that state. It's just that... that. You know what I mean. As to curing the poison and the outcome of the treatment, he needs to be told clearly so he can choose wisely.
You're right about that. We can't rush this. Let's wait for Shadong first and let them discuss it.
Sounds great. One of them would have a lot to say. The other one couldn't utter a word. The discussion will take some time. Hey! I brought you a big gift. Didn't Failio tell you?
What is it?
Failio! You're not a good boy. Why didn't you deliver my message? I'm going to wrap you in a big leaf. And I'll cover you in oil, put you in a barrel, and roll you down.
Quit teasing him already. What treasure do you have for me?
A pretty woman. But this is no ordinary pretty woman. I'm certain you'd be interested. Can you guess who it is?
You've captured Jin Banruo.
You spoil everything. How can you use the word capture when referring to a lady?
Does she know where Shajang is?
She escaped together with Sha Zhang, but he must have felt that she was a burden and left her behind. Therefore, now that the borders are closed, even if Sha Zhang has great skills, there is no way for him to escape. The only reason you can't track him down is because he's in
the capital.
You're right!
Director Shah.
Do you have new information, Minister Fan?
Director Shah understands His Majesty well. It turns out he chose Chief Secretariat Liu Cheng's granddaughter as the future bride of the current crown prince.
I've worked for His Majesty for decades. I know his preferences and his thoughts very well. Let Prince Jing bask in his glory. The higher you are, the harder you'll fall. Once His Majesty discovers Meichangsu's real identity, then he will finally know the whole truth. When that happens, I can guarantee that Prince Jing will fall from his throne.
Meichangsu's identity?
Minister Fan, you too will know about it when the time comes.
I've kept Banro outside of the city. Do what you want with her.
We have to take her to the authorities.
You're not going to talk to her?
What for?
Perhaps what influence the Hua tribe still has in the capital.
She gave you an answer?
You can't blame me if I didn't get her to answer. I can only say Princess Xuanji must have known that Qin Banro wasn't intelligent enough and didn't reveal everything she knows to her. Some of the information is with Cha Zhang.
Then this present you brought isn't very valuable after all.
All right. Let me ask you something. After Prince Jing takes power, what do you intend to do with the Hua tribe? After all, there are still a number of their people who still wish to restore their tribe. From these people's perspective, they're only fighting for their justice, right?
The entire Hua tribe surrendered to Liang, but 3 years later, defected to the northern Yan. That's why Father led an army to fight them. At the time, we held different opinions. Who's to say who's right or who's wrong? It is very similar to what happened with Kuman, who surrendered before rebelling. I'm afraid when Jingyang becomes emperor, he'll have to do his best to appease either the people of the Hua tribe or the vassal state of Yichen. His life as an emperor won't be very easy.
The things that worry you are very long-term, aren't they? It's almost as if you've forgotten what my father told you before. Take care of yourself. This illness of yours will never be cured.
But you asked me first.
If I ask, will you answer? I can't be bothered by you. Now let's eat. Hey, is my food ready yet or what?
Even if Prince Yu's rebellion has been closed, the authorities' attempts to seize you is still intense. Tell me, Director, what do you plan to do next to solve this issue?
My next move is going to be very important. I need to speak to His Majesty.
But how is that possible? When in recent times you've already been branded as a criminal along with Prince Yu. Your warrant of arrest is all over the city. You can't even leave, let alone see His Majesty this—
Worry not, Minister Fan. Seeing His Majesty right now is not likely to happen. But I would like to make arrangements to send him a message. This shouldn't be a problem, should it?
I'm just a local official. To be able to send a private message to the palace is something I'm afraid I can't help
Your
you
niece
with.
is a concubine inside the palace, isn't she?
Yes, but a low-ranking concubine.
I will need your niece to contact somebody in behalf of me.
Who is it?
The dethroned Crown Prince's mother. The noble consort who held power over the Imperial harem, who's now addressed as Consort Yu Xian.
The seventh royal prince, who is Shao Jingyan, talented and outstanding, with great ability and foresight, must now abide by the rules of the heaven and serve the people of Liang. He is hereby proclaimed to the entire state to be appointed as the new crown prince and be bestowed the Jade Book as well as the Jade Seal. He shall take charge of the Eastern Palace and rule for years to come to bring peace to us all. And that is all.
I thank you, Your Majesty, for your grace.
Your Majesty.
Chief,
Get some people to seal the secret chamber.
since this chamber was built over a year ago, it was used to send messages whether it was urgent or not. Now that it'll be sealed, there'll be no trace of it left.
Jing is the Crown Prince. What trace do you want to leave behind?
Your Majesty. The Imperial doctor says it's not serious. You'll get better after a few days' rest.
I have aged. I'm getting old after all. We now have our Crown Prince, starting tomorrow. Tell him to start ruling the entire country.
As you wish.
Brother Nie's appearance may have changed, but for Sister Dong, just to see him again is all that really matters. Do you think Master Lin can really heal Brother Nie's illness?
He won't commit to something when he won't succeed in it.
What about your illness?
I'm much better now, aren't I? Brother Nie, sit down. Sister Dong will arrive soon. She'll be filled with joy the moment she sees you.
You finally came back to me. The royal diviners have come up with 3 auspicious days for the upcoming royal wedding. Take a look. Which one do you prefer?
You choose, Mother.
How about the 29th of July? The weather will certainly be much nicer by that time. It won't be as hot as it is now.
As you wish, Mother.
Since your return from Mount Jiuan, you seem to be troubled, my dear. Even His Majesty himself noticed and asked me about it. Tell me, are you unhappy with the candidate for the crown princess?
You decide, Mother. What was that, Mother?
I understand exactly how you feel. But precisely at times like these is when you must keep your composure. You have just been appointed, son, and Prince Yu's case has just been finalized. No matter how you feel about it, right now is not the moment for you to be bringing up the old case. I think Master Su has the same opinion about this, doesn't he?
He does. He even told Niwang to remind me not to be too hasty.
General and Madam Nye, I don't mean to ruin this, but can you both not act this way? Fine then. I am ruining the moment. What I mean is that the both of you will have lots of time to reunite with each other in the future. May I now discuss with the both of you about General Nye's medical condition first? I know you have said this to me before. The poison in General Nye is called the bitter flame poison. It is the world's most mysterious poison of all. It is unique in that it can save lives and it can take lives. It can also descend people into a hellish torture. Back then, General Nye's entire body was burnt at the time, and the flaming poison had reached his heart already. He should have been dead until he fell into a snow cavern and got bitten all over by snow bugs. That's what saved his life. Snowbugs can only be found nowhere else but Mount Meiling. They eat burnt flesh, while spitting out poison all at once, using freezing air to curb the fire's heat. This helps preserve a person's life. This is how the poison of the bitter flame works. Those poisoned by it will have their bones deform, and their flesh will swell, while fur will grow all over the body, just like General Nye here. The base of their tongue will grow stiff, so they can't speak. The poison attacks several times a day. When that happens, drinking blood is the only way to subdue it. Human blood is more effective. Although this may help extend the patient's life, their physical strength is similar to ours. This kind of torment, I must say, is much tougher than death. For General Nye to bear this for so many years only means he must be exceptionally strong-willed. That's very impressive.
Can the poison be removed?
Well, since you have me with you, of course it can. The two methods of treatment, the complete removal and the partial removal, it will be your choice.
Complete removal, of course.
Madam Nye, kindly allow me to further explain the two methods before you decide on choosing one of them. The process of removing the bitter flame is very painful. It's like filing one's bone or peeling one's skin. It is true that General Nye is a true warrior and should be able to bear this pain. However, to thoroughly remove it means the poisoned bone fragments must be removed and reconstructed. The patient will be bedridden for more than a year for the skeletal muscle to regenerate. The benefit of this treatment is, after this, you will look like a normal person again, but you will look different from how you originally looked before. Your tongue will soften, which will restore your ability to speak. However, this method will create a great impact on your body. You will lose all of your abilities when it comes to martial arts. You will also fall frequently ill. The cold weather may also endanger your life. You cannot expect to live very long.
What did you say?
The human body still has its limits to what it can endure. If you choose to completely remove the poison, practically means swapping it with your own life. But if you can take care of yourself, living to the age of 40 shouldn't be a problem.
Master Lin, does this mean...
Brother Meng.
Don't say my name! Have you forgotten what you said? You said you were feeling weak. You'd feel better after some rest. But now you're this sick, and you still insist on going to the capital! To torment yourself in the capital like that! Do you have a death wish? You may not give a damn about your life, but did you ever think of us, huh? Don't you think of us?
Brother Meng!
You shut up! You were by his side. He's wasting his own life like it's nothing, and you act like you don't care!
That's enough. There's no need to blame him. Don't you know how opinionated this man can be? Even if Wei Zhang wasn't around and you were, would you be able to stop him then?
Of course!
Please stop! Niwang. Please come with me. As for you both, I'll explain it. And you, stop your nonsense. Just get to the point.
What's the matter with Master Su?
All right. Now let's continue and discuss about the partial removal method. This treatment is almost about the same, except that the toxins in your body are retained and controlled. So it will no longer hurt the human body. The poison will no longer attack you anymore. No longer will you drink blood, although your body's stamina won't be restored. It's no different from a normal person's. But more importantly, you'll live for many years.
What else?
That's right. There is more. The white fur on his body cannot be fully removed, and the stiffness of his tongue won't soften. He won't be able to speak clearly.
I'm contented with how you look now. I don't mind at all. Fang, please, for the sake of staying by my side. Can you bear it? For us?